Hi, I'm Michelle Begue with a look at what's happening in Latin America now. But first, our news trivia. What country will be host of next year's climate change conference COP30? We'll have the answer later. Rio de Janeiro was the host of this year's Group of 20 Leading Economies. As Brazil held the chair of the G20, it set the priority issues to be discussed during the summit, and they were the fight against hunger, poverty and inequality, sustainable development, and the reform of global governance. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva met with his Chinese counterpart on Wednesday. President Xi Jinping spoke at the summit and joined Lula in pushing for countries to elevate the voice of the global South. During the G20, presidents are taking the opportunity to advance bilateral talks. China and Argentina agreed to strengthen commercial relations and announced they were planning official visits. Mexico's newly sworn-in president, Claudia Sheinbaum, made her global summit debut with a proposal for countries to destine a percentage of defense budget towards reforestation efforts to create the world's largest reforestation project in history. Some non-G20 countries were invited to attend. The president of one of them, Paraguay's Santiago Peña, had to go through a brief hospital stay after experiencing discomfort on Monday afternoon. He was discharged early on Tuesday morning to continue with his G20 engagements. The host of the next G20 summit will be South Africa in 2025. In Honduras and Nicaragua, Tropical Storm Sara left at least 4 people dead, and more than 120,000 were left homeless or suffered damages in floods across the Central American region. In Honduras, more than 1,800 communities were left without communication. The storm weakened as it left and moved over the Yucatan Peninsula earlier in the week, but the greatest damage was done. Authorities say the remnants of the storm will continue to generate precipitation in various areas that could cause rivers to grow and landslides. Gangs in Haiti launched a new attack on the capital this week in an upscale community of Port-au-Prince. Gunmen reportedly clashed with residents who fought side by side with police. At least 28 suspected gang members were killed and hundreds of munitions seized. This week, officials from the UN announced more than 20,000 people have been forced to flee from the capital in recent days. Ecuador's government has declared a 60-day national emergency because of raging forest fires. Officials reported there were some 13 active wildfires while another 9 had been controlled. But the fires could be made worse because of the severe drought that has left the country facing water shortages. The forest fires destroyed more than 10,000 hectares in southern Ecuador this month, near the border with Peru. Peru's Air Force sent 2 firefighting helicopters to help combat the fires. Now let's check out what stories we're following for next week. Uruguay is preparing for the final round of their presidential elections. On November 24th, citizens will choose between center-left candidate Yamandu Orsi and the center-right candidate of the National Party, Álvaro Delgado. The winner of these elections will replace President Luis Lacalle Pou, who could not run for immediate re-election. If Orsi wins, this would be the return to power for the Broad Front Coalition Party that was in power from 2005 to 2020. According to polls, the biggest issues in this election are insecurity, followed by unemployment, drug trafficking, poverty, and lastly, corruption. And now the answer to our news trivia. The answer is B. Brazil's city of Belém will be host of the United Nations Climate Change Conference known as COP30. This will be the first time Brazil hosts the major climate change event. The only other Latin American nations that hosted were Argentina in 1998 and 2004, and Mexico in 2010. And that's it for this week. We'll see you again soon on Latin America Now.